Good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. It is 11:18 a.m. on Thursday, July 16th. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. And yeah, looks like my camera is turned off here. Hold on a sec. Not that you guys need to see me, but there we go. And let me move this up here. Okay. So I hope everybody's doing good. We're going to just jump right in here. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and questions, comments, leave them down below. I made a good video yesterday about consistency rules and a little bit about prop fund trading. So check that out if you didn't. So we're just going to do a quick review today. I don't have any real special topics to go over. So we'll just jump right in here. We'll start in the futures market here with our grains. And it looked like, and I ended up closing this trade a little while ago with a small loss. And I probably could have held it to the stop loss, but I didn't really think this sell stop down here. I cannot get it off my chart. I just keep saying failed. So it's kind of like a phantom sell stop. This was from the trade I had the other day with that big run up. So for whatever reason, I can't get rid of it, but there's no trade open on this right now. So anyways, we had this pullback here, and then it looked like this was a nice pullback deep into the moving average and started going up again. And I got in around here, and then price just came back down and with this big red candle right here. So I ended up just closing it with a small loss. And the reason why is because I just don't like the fact that we're not getting, especially with these range bar candles, because one of the advantages of these range bar candles is once you have a really impulsive move being driven by, big money, you will get multiple green candles generally in a row. You can see like here when it pulls out of this zone, I mean, you only have one little red candle on a retest and back up, and the moving averages are also a nice guide too. And then of course we had this one right here that I talked about yesterday, and then we had this. But I don't like the fact that we're just kind of like going up here, and in this little move up, we've had now two bear candles, including this big one right here. That's looks like it's almost an engulfing candle. And just to me, it's just saying that there isn't a lot of buying momentum at these levels. And I mean, it looked like a good trade. Now, if I had taken it from here, um, which I did not, then it probably would have turned out to be a good trade. But what happened was I waited and it ran up, and then I got in kind of late, and now it's pulled back. So, we did have this nice level right here. Price pulled back, on our range bars. We had this bullish momentum yesterday, and then it pulled back here. We had this liquidity sweep and then up. Now, this might ultimately turn up, but I'm just, I think there's not as much buying interest at these levels. And so you can see I do have an alert set above this high. So if this does turn and come back up, then I probably would consider buying, even though it would be a little bit late, but I think it would still be okay, at least to go back to these old highs. But as it stands right now, I just wasn't really loving this look. Now, it's not to say that it couldn't, because, if we look back here, on this rally out of here, we did have some red candles sprinkled in here. But you can see price is still going down here. And, I think as long as we don't take out this low right here, the momentum is still bullish. Now, if we come down here and we smash through this low, then we're probably rolling over and at least, going to see a short-term correction down, if not a reversal. And then this will turn into a lower high, and then, we'll see. So we're kind of at this unknown stage. So to me, this is the range I'm kind of locked into now, right here, right in this inside of here. So we'll see if we, break through here and close below, in which case we'll probably, run down back towards these lows at least. Or if this is just a pullback, a breakout pullback, and then eventually it goes up. But this is quite out of character for, these previous moves up. Once it's pulled out of the moving averages, usually it just goes straight through. You might get a couple of red candles sprinkled in, but the overall momentum is straight up. I mean, And, you might get some inline red candles. What I mean by that is like something like this. If I use my channel indicator, right? You get something like this where these red candles are contained inside of this channel move up, and that's fine. They come down here and then just keep going. But when you get this one now that's rolled over now and it's coming back towards the lows, that's a little bit more concerning. So that's why I closed it. And so we'll see. But this is the range I'm looking at now. And, probably not going to happen today, being that it's already 11:30. But it's something to watch for, anyways. All right. So just got an alert on soybean meal. Let's just look at that. I'm not really loving that too much, but we'll zoom out a little bit here. Now, this isn't great just from a standpoint of, the corrective move here seems to already have happened. If we get rid of these yellow lines, right? So obviously I like to find these really deep pullbacks, and soybean meal likes to pull back really deep, even below these moving averages, but market structure is maintained. So you look at this area right here, right here. I mean, these are tremendous. And what I was just talking about with, even if you get red candles holding inside the channel, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So on this move up, we did get some bear candles, but, it was being contained inside this channel, which means, there's very structured buying going on, and these are just little pullback areas, and that's all it is. And, so whatever. So, like, if I wanted to buy this right now, I'm not crazy about it just because this move's already in progress, but I am going to buy it. So we'll see what happens right there. And only because I did have the alert set. And we'll put a sell stop below that candle and see what happens. All right. So there you go. You guys want to see live trading? There's one. Now, like I just said, this is not an ideal trade because the train's already left the station here with this move. The time to enter this was ideally back here, but if not, then somewhere around here when it broke back above the moving averages, and we kind of confirmed the momentum. But so anywhere in here would have been a good entry. This is kind of late, but it still has some upside. If we look way to the left, we've got this little zone right here. There was some liquidity that was tapped, and then we had this big move down, and then we've got this obvious swing high up here. So this may not go very far, but there you go. All right. So that's about it on futures. There's nothing really. This is soybean oil. This is kind of range bound right now. Looks like it's trying to roll over and go down. We came out of this here, tried to run up, but there's just nothing there. We just talked about wheat. There's corn. I still think corn is pretty bullish. I will wait for this. These moving averages will catch up as we go here. But this one still looks pretty bullish. I still think there's plenty of room to run to the upside here. I mean, minimum target would be up here, which is probably another day of price action. Just looking to the left at some structure areas that led to new down moves. We had this one, and maybe over here and then up here. So either way, I think there's at least one more good solid push to the upside. And so maybe this will come either tonight or tomorrow. On this, we get like a little bit more of a pullback here towards the moving averages, and then a pull out of here, up to, like I said, at least this zone up here. So although I'm still bullish on corn, there's no setup there right now, at least using the range candles. All right. And yeah, that's about it. Soybeans, pretty ugly, just chopping around at the highs here. So I'm not really interested in this one at all. So, all right. So that is about it for futures. So I did take a loss already, but you can see I just took that one. So let's see how that works out. Could end up being another loss, but so be it. I had a really good couple of days. So if I take a couple of small losses, that's just the way it goes. So, all right. Anyways, so we'll move on to Forex. El Quico here. And let's see. All right. So pound Kiwi, I wanted to show you that. Yeah, so pound Kiwi, let me turn off these moving averages. I don't need them for Forex. I just don't, uh, I just think they're good for the day trading these futures, but for Forex, it just clouds my judgment, and I just don't like them. But I do, like I said, I do think they have a lot of value for me when I day trade the grain futures. So it's probably just a mental thing, but whatever. So I had gone long pound Kiwi yesterday. If you guys saw my video, I ended up closing it. I took a pretty nasty loss on it on my funded account, about $500. Now, ultimately, we may end up, this may end up just being a pullback. I took it on this breakout now, and I got in yesterday, like up here somewhere on this like second candle. Wasn't an ideal entry. And then you can see it went sideways, overnight. And then today it's been pretty much heading down since the London session earlier and the early New York session. And so now it's coming back to this breakout point. So we'll see whether we get like this is going to be a break and retest and go higher. If we start maybe like establishing a new range right here, then this could be just a new range and we'll see, do we get a liquidity sweep, or are we just going to like break through here and just continue the downtrend? I don't know. I have this range, this alert I had set down here. I'll move this up to like here, and we'll see what happens. And then maybe I'll put an alert to the upside, kind of give it a little bit of breathing room. We'll see what happens. So, I mean, this was a pretty bullish move out of this zone down here. We had this big rejection candle. So, and the range bars are pretty much, are pretty much lining this up. So, but we'll see how that goes. So I did take that loss, but I still am in dollar Canadian. We talked about that. This, this is the arrow I drew during the video. Yes, I have a TP sitting down here. We'll see if it gets there. And then I'm still in euro Canadian. And again, my TP is sitting just below here, right around here. So we'll see. It's getting pretty close. And then the other one is, I think, euro Kiwi. And remember, I talked about this zone. That's still a little ways off, but I still think it will get down there. And so we'll see. So those are the three trades I'm actively in right now. And those are from yesterday. I have not taken anything new today in Forex. So if we look at current, some other charts, just go through here. This is this is Aussie US dollar. And this candle painted this morning and closed at the New York Open. Hasn't been any change since then. There hasn't been another candle, which means we haven't, moved 50 pips beyond this. This was at 8:30 this morning. And you can see since there's no candle, again, this is set at 500. So that's 50 pip ranges. So it will not paint another candle until it moves 50 pips. So, we'll see. Obviously, if this is going to start turning and go higher, then I'd like to see, a little pullback, maybe establish a new range in here, where maybe we go sideways for a little while and then break higher, so we can probably get rid of this line because this range has been broken now. So let's see if we establish a new range. But again, I'm not going to chase this right now, just because it's already moved on this breakout. And this is kind of what I tried to do with that pound New Zealand, and I got my hand slapped, right? I just took the breakout and didn't wait for another pullback before I went in long. And so the nice thing about the range bars is they do set up for some nice sideways ranges that are very easy to define, and then you just wait for that range to break, and then you take the trade if you believe that's the direction it's going. So in the meantime, I'll just watch this, but it is on my watch list. Nothing really with Euro USD. We're just kind of inside that range. Okay, so here's pound USD again. We broke out of this range, pulling back now. So, I'm going to get rid of this line. And we'll see if we establish a new range, like right inside of here, what we keep doing. This rejected, looks like off of this level right here. So let's see if we can get a new range established, maybe come back inside here and then break. and then we can look to run up to these old highs up here. So I'll keep an eye on this, but there's no range there right now. I don't know what this is going to do, so I'm not doing anything with it. Uh, New Zealand USD is just ripping to the upside, but at least in terms of finding a good area to enter, I haven't had an opportunity, and I'm like I said, I just don't chase price like this. If you didn't get in at the breakout or around the breakout, then don't chase the price because it's just Murphy's Law. The minute you get in, that's when the pullback will start and you'll get caught in a big drawdown, and have to either take the loss or weather, a big drawdown and then hope that it eventually goes back in your favor. So, dollar yen, I was looking at that as being maybe a potential lower high right here, tried to go up, but overall, this is just moving sideways and I'm just not really interested in it a lot. We already talked about dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, clearly inside of a range. Let's see what happens with that. Aussie Canadian, not interested in that. Aussie yen did break through. Remember, I had closed this trade at these highs. Looks like it has now broken through. And but I would still like to see another little range set. I don't want to chase this now through the breakout. If we get another little pullback or a little range like this sets up again, then I would be interested in that, to trade it up to these new highs. So I'm watching it, but I'm not interested in it at the moment because again, I'm not going to chase this. So I'm going to get rid of these lines and I'm going to get rid of this alert too. Actually, I'll probably get rid of this alert for now too. And we'll just wait and see if we get a new range setting up. Okay, Aussie, New Zealand. We talked about yesterday. These are the alerts that I set. And it will be interesting to see, right? We came down here. I put this alert in. We did not break through here. We tried to pull back up. Now we've came back into this larger range. We've thrown this little wick right now. So let's see what happens. If we come down here and smash back through these lows, I would take this short. Or if we come up here, we get back inside the range and we start moving higher, I'd consider a long. But there's nothing for me to do with it right now. CAD yen is moving, but again, I'm not chasing anything like that. Swiss yen, that's just, I have no interest in that. Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie is trending. Again, this is kind of what I tried to do with pound Kiwi, just trying to get in on these pullbacks right here. The way to do this is if you wanted to enter is to go to a shorter range and, look for this type of setup. Like I'm on the 250 range. So each one of these sticks is 25 pips. And here is the pullback. We started a little range right here. And then the entry would have been like right here. And now it's moving. So again, I'm not going to chase that. It's not worth it just to be in a trade. But that's the way to do it with these trending markets. When they're in a strong trend and you're only getting these like little one candlestick pullbacks like this, you had one, potentially one here. It's hard to use the range bars because you don't know whether this is going to be a range or whether it's actually starting to move again. So that's what I would, drop to a shorter range bar and look for an entry on these trending trades. If you don't get these nice little, because this is what I prefer to trade, because these defined range breakouts, these little pauses in a trend, like we go up, we move sideways for 4 or 5 candles, and then we break. That's what I prefer to do. But it's a little harder when it's aggressive like this and you only get one candle pullbacks. Yes, you could just go short on the next red candle. But if you want a little bit more confirmation, you go to a shorter range bar and you just look to see if you've got a structured break on there. And this probably is, but as you just saw a minute ago when I had it on 250, it's already moved quite a bit. So I'm probably not going to do anything with that. Euro yen is probably still, Euro yen is still kind of ugly. Now, if we can get clear all of this garbage, I mean, it looks like, maybe if you just look at this in isolation, it looks like we are trying to go higher. And, but, we still are operating inside a big range. I mean, this candle is going to come up to this area and it's probably going to, there's going to be a reaction. Now, whether it just pulls back and then blasts through it like the Aussie yen did, we'll have to see. It's quite possible that it does. But, I'd want to just kind of clear all of this junk here, you know. And even if it clears this, then you've got this next set of double top, right, a little bit above that. So that's why I don't like this altogether. Just to me, it's not very interesting. We talked about Euro Kiwi. Pound Aussie is, operating inside of this range still, right? We had a liquidity sweep. Then we moved higher, hit the top of the range again, and now we're heading back down. So, we well, not potential. We do have like a triple top formed right here. So let's see. Do we like get down here and smash through this zone and start going lower, or are we just going to chop inside? But either way, it's inside of a range very clearly defined right now, and that's not of any interest to me. And pound Canadian, yeah, I mean, is this are we starting to see a lower high right here, right? We had this, we kind of swept liquidity, started moving higher. Now we've had two bear candles heading back towards these lows. We can get rid of this one, this alert right here. But again, until I see some kind of major break outside of this, not really of any interest. We already talked about pound Kiwi. And then lastly, there's New Zealand Kiwi. Again, just kind of ugly sideways price action. And New Zealand Kiwi has been ripping, like I said. Again, this is another one where you'd have to look for pullbacks on a shorter range bar. But we are now approaching this major high up here, so I expect to see some kind of reaction off of there, okay? And we're kind of approaching, this is also, if we zoom out, we've got, this is a major high up here that I expect that we'll see some kind of reaction from around this 95 zone. All right, so so that's pretty much where we're at. So I have not taken anything new in Forex today. Looks like I might not, at this point, might not really get anything. So that's fine. I've got those other 3 trades running, and I'll just manage those the best I can, and we'll just see what happens. So, all right, and then we'll see what works out with futures with that one I just opened while I was talking to you guys, and we'll see what's happening after that. All right. So we'll wrap it up there, guys. Questions, comments, make sure you leave them down below. Smash that like button on the way out. Again, just using these range bar charts now to do analysis, really digging it. And it just takes a lot of the noise of regular candlesticks out. Not perfect, obviously. I took the loss on the pound Kiwi. It was a pretty big loss. But, in the grand scheme of how, my winning trades the last several days, I'm still pretty well ahead. So, but that's going to happen. And really with that one, like I said, it's just, I kind of chased it instead of, getting it at a more ideal spot. I was just kind of chasing price, figuring it would go up, and it might ultimately. I will watch that one to see, what happens here. Does this turn out this is going to be a breakout to the upside, and we're just retesting this old range right here, coming back to retest this old range that we broke through here. And, so if we kind of reject anywhere from basically from these lows, from this yellow line down to these, we get back inside of here and then turn higher again, I'll probably be, more apt to reestablish the long. But if we break through here, you can see this range. We get down through here. I've got this dotted line. If we smash through this range, then we could just be continuing the downtrend. So, I mean, these can be really volatile pairs. So this whole big move up could just be a correction to a downtrend at the end of the day. We'll have to see. So I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna hopefully get fooled twice on this one. I'll wait and see what it wants to do. So, all right. So that's it, guys. Hope you have a great day. We'll keep this one pretty short because I've been making some really lengthy videos lately. All right. Have a great day, guys. Questions, comments, let me know, and I'll talk to you all soon.